Nobody talks about Uranus. Not really. Jupiter gets the storms, Saturn gets the rings, Mars gets the missions, Neptune gets the mystique. Uranus gets the jokes. And that's exactly why nobody saw it coming. Because while everyone was looking elsewhere, Uranus was quietly being the strangest, most violent, most inexplicable planet in the solar system. You just weren't paying attention. Let's start with the most basic fact. Uranus is the only planet in the solar system that rotates on its side. Not slightly tilted, not a few degrees off, on its side. Its axial tilt is 98 degrees, which means its north pole points almost directly at the sun for half of its orbit and almost directly away for the other half. Every other planet spins like a top. Uranus rolls like a barrel. One pole faces the sun for 42 years straight, then darkness for 42 years. No day and night cycle, just decades of permanent noon followed by decades of permanent midnight. If you were standing on Uranus, which you cannot because there is no surface, you would experience a summer that lasts longer than a human lifetime, followed by a winter that lasts longer than a human lifetime. Think about what that means for weather, for atmosphere, for every system that depends on the cycle of day and night that every other planet in the solar system takes for granted. Uranus doesn't have seasons the way Earth does. It has something closer to a permanent, planet-wide climate catastrophe that switches direction every 4 decades. And here's what should disturb you about that. We don't fully know why. The leading theory is a collision. Something enormous, an object at least the size of Earth, possibly much larger, slammed into Uranus during the early solar system and knocked it onto its side. A single, catastrophic impact that permanently changed the planet's entire relationship with the Sun. We have never seen this object. We have no direct evidence it existed. We just know something hit Uranus so hard that the entire planet never recovered. And we almost missed it. Uranus looks, from Earth, like a featureless blue-green dot. No visible storms, no dramatic rings, nothing obviously wrong. Everything wrong is hidden. That blue-green color is not peaceful. It comes from methane in the upper atmosphere, methane that absorbs red light and reflects blue and green back into space. Beneath that serene color is an atmosphere of hydrogen, helium, and methane at temperatures around -224 degrees Celsius. That is the coldest planetary atmosphere in the solar system. Not Neptune, not Pluto, Uranus. The planet further from the Sun is actually warmer. Neptune, which is 1.6 billion kilometers further out, radiates more internal heat than Uranus does. Uranus barely radiates any heat at all. This should not be possible. Every other planet in the solar system radiates significantly more heat than it receives from the Sun. Leftover warmth from formation, slowly bleeding out into space over billions of years. Uranus doesn't. It receives heat from the Sun. It radiates roughly the same amount back. The interior is cold, or locked, or something is trapping the heat inside in a way we don't understand. Some scientists believe the collision that knocked Uranus sideways also created a thermal barrier deep in the interior, a layer that prevents internal heat from escaping, like a lid on a pot. The heat is still there, locked inside, unable to reach the surface. A planet sitting on its own trapped warmth for billions of years and showing nothing on the outside. We have been staring at this anomaly for decades. We have models. We have hypotheses. We do not have an answer. Something is wrong with Uranus's interior, and we don't know what. Go deeper. Unlike Jupiter and Saturn, which are primarily hydrogen and helium, Uranus belongs to a different category, an ice giant. Its interior is not gas. It is a hot, dense fluid of water, methane, and ammonia ices, compressed under pressures that have no equivalent on Earth. At certain depths inside Uranus, the pressure becomes so extreme that methane molecules are torn apart. The carbon atoms are stripped out and compressed into something else entirely. Diamonds. It may be raining diamonds inside Uranus, not metaphorically, literally. Carbon compressed into diamond crystals, falling through layers of pressurized fluid, possibly accumulating in a diamond layer deep in the interior. Laboratory experiments on Earth have recreated these conditions at small scale, and the diamonds formed. The physics works. We just can't confirm it's happening inside Uranus because we have never been there. We cannot confirm this from the outside. We have never sent a probe into Uranus. We have never directly sampled its interior. The only spacecraft that ever visited was Voyager 2, which flew past in 1986 for a few hours and never came back. A few hours. In 1986. That is the entirety of our close-range data on the seventh planet from the Sun. Everything else is inference, modeling, and educated guessing. Now look at the rings. Yes, Uranus has rings, 13 of them. Most people don't know this because they are nothing like Saturn's. They are narrow, dark, and nearly invisible. Made not of bright ice, but of some of the darkest material in the solar system. As dark as charcoal, as dark as coal. Scientists don't fully understand why. The rings were only discovered in 1977, not by spacecraft, but by accident. Astronomers were watching Uranus pass in front of a distant star, measuring the planet's size. The star dimmed before Uranus reached it, and again after Uranus passed it. Something else was blocking the light, on both sides. That's how we found the rings, by accident, because they were too dark to see directly. Uranus had been hiding them for the entire history of human astronomy. And then there are the moons. Uranus has 28 known moons. Unlike every other planet in the solar system, whose moons are named after mythological figures, Uranus's moons are named after characters from Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. Oberon, Titania, Miranda, Ariel, Umbriel. Names from plays and poems. Names from human imagination. And Miranda is where imagination fails. Miranda is one of the strangest objects in the solar system. It is small, only 470 kilometers across, but its surface looks like it was assembled by someone who lost the instructions halfway through. There are canyons 20 kilometers deep, the deepest known canyons in the solar system, on a moon smaller than the state of Texas. There are grooved terrains that run in completely different directions from the terrain next to them. There are cliffs, Verona Rupes, that drop 10 kilometers straight down, the tallest known cliff face in the solar system. If you fell off Verona Rupes on Miranda, you would fall for about 12 minutes before hitting the bottom. In Miranda's low gravity, that fall would not necessarily kill you. The current best explanation for Miranda's chaotic surface is that the moon was shattered by an ancient impact, completely broken apart, and then slowly reassembled under its own gravity. The pieces came back together in the wrong order. Miranda died and came back wrong. Here is what makes Uranus genuinely unsettling, separate from all the anomalies. We have visited it once, briefly, 39 years ago. Every other planet in the solar system has been visited multiple times. Mars has active rovers on its surface right now. Jupiter has had multiple orbiters. Saturn had Cassini for 13 years. Even tiny Pluto got a flyby in 2015. Uranus has had one visitor, for a few hours, and then silence. There is currently no approved mission to Uranus. NASA's Planetary Science Decadal Survey designated a Uranus orbiter as the top priority for large missions in 2023. That mission still has no confirmed launch date. If approved and funded today, it would not arrive until the 2040s at the earliest. We will not know what is actually inside Uranus until most people watching this are middle-aged or older. We have a planet in our own solar system, close enough to see with the naked eye on a clear night, that we know almost nothing about. The heat anomaly is unexplained. The tilt is unexplained. The dark rings are poorly understood. The interior composition is modeled but unconfirmed. The moons are almost entirely unmapped. Uranus is not boring. Uranus is the most understudied, least understood large object in our immediate cosmic neighborhood. We ignored it because it had no obvious drama, no great red spot, no iconic rings, no missions sending back daily data, just a pale blue-green dot rolling sideways through the dark, keeping its secrets. Uranus has been out there for 4.5 billion years. knocked onto its side by something we will never find, hiding diamonds in its interior, trapping its own heat behind a barrier we can't see, surrounded by rings so dark they were invisible until we accidentally found them, orbited by a moon that died and reassembled itself wrong, cold in a way that doesn't make sense, silent in a way that feels deliberate. When you look at it, if you ever bother to look, it appears perfectly calm, a faint blue-green smudge at the edge of visibility. That is not calm. That is a planet that has been through something catastrophic, locked everything inside, and has been waiting in silence for 4.5 billion years. And we still haven't asked the right questions.